We can start our webinar. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar with the title Leveraging Public Procurement for Green, Social and Innovative Transitions. This event is co-organized by two European projects. The Deal4Good project, which is co-funded by the European Union via the Erasmus Plus program, and Procurement project, which is co-funded by the European Union via the Interreg Euromed program. Both of these projects will be presented in more detail later in our today's agenda. Both projects are working with strategic public procurement processes, Deal4Good with social public procurement, and the training and capacity building of social enterprises, while procurement is more focused on green public procurement and public procurement of innovation, and providing guidelines and tools how to bridge the gap between the public and the private sector. I'm very pleased that I will be moderating today's webinar together with my co-moderator Massimo Iannicello, representing Terre di Siena Lab. Just before starting with our agenda, to give you a quick note that there is the chat room that you can leave your questions at any time during the webinar. At the end of the webinar, we have a dedicated session for questions and open discussion. So there will be space there for your contribution and to have a more active discussion with you. And let me briefly share my screen to give you a brief, here you are. Okay, so you can see the agenda of today's webinar. We will start with the presentation of the procurement project done by the municipality of Narni, the lead partner of procurement project. We will continue with the presentation of the Deal4Good project, which will be presented by the European Centre for Social Finance, the lead partner of this project. We will continue with a presentation by the University of West Attica about the social public procurement, the current landscape, challenges and solutions. Then we will have a presentation by the Umbria region to see how Umbria region has experienced the green public procurement in practice. Next, we will have the chance to get known about another project, the GPP to Adrian project, which is co-funded by Interreg Adrian program and has to do with green and circular public procurement. And last but not least, we will have a very interesting presentation by Corverse Procurement Services about innovation procurement and the assistance that all stakeholders can get through a FIP and SPIN for the EICA mechanism. And then we will have the open discussion and some closing remarks. So without further ado, I will pass the floor to Massimo to continue with the agenda.
Okay, Costantina just introduced me, so we can start with the first presentation. The first presentation concerns the procurement project. The speaker is Maria Luisa Carli, who represents the municipality of Narni. Narni is the lead partner for the procurement projects. So I leave the floor to Maria Luisa.
Hi, good morning to everyone. I quick share my screen with the presentation. Can you see it? I put just a moment. Okay. Okay, it should work, correct? Yeah, I think so. Welcome to everybody. My name is Maria Luisa. I am on the behalf of the municipality of Narni. to present and give you just a quick overview of our project Procurement. The entire project title is Innovative and Green Procurement Towards Sustainable Economy in Med Area. As said by Costantina and Massimo, the lead partner is the municipality of Narni, and here you can see all the other international partners that are in the project. It is a 27 months project, and we started on January 2024. So we are close to the end of the project because it will finish by the end of March, but all the activities will be finished by the end of this December. It is, of course, co-funded by the Interreg Euromed program. What is the mission of our project? The mission is strengthening an innovative, sustainable economy by supporting the transition towards a competitive, innovative, and sustainable ecosystem in the Mediterranean region. By developing innovative capacities, both for enterprises and local authorities. Using through strategic procurement procedures, in particular PPI and GPP, Green Public Procurement and Public Procurement of Innovative Solutions. How do we achieve this? First, upscaling and transferring what we learned by two other previous projects, Interreg Med Europe projects. Prominent Med and Graspino. Actually 4, because Prominent Med and Graspino did also the Prominent Plus and Graspino Plus. We are developing a tool named Strategic Procurement Unified Platform that is integrating the strategies, the guidelines, the GPP guidelines, the PPI guidelines that were already studied in the previous project, and in it will be a LCC tool and a BAT database. We are also creating an European Mediterranean Coalition for Innovative Sustainable Economy to boost this transnational cooperation between public procurers and enterprises. Everything, of course, is aligned and actively supports the European initiative, which is the European context. I borrowed these two slides from the presentation of Ana Lucia Jaramillo, that I think is in our workshop, because they summarize what the European Commission actively promotes. They promote a strategic procurement as a key tool to foster innovative circular value chain with the European Green Deal and the Circular Economy Action Plan. To what? To make public administration more efficient, more effective, and more citizen and business friendly. Unfortunately, however, the path is not without obstacles, because the current situation is that public authorities often prefer prioritize the cost over the sustainability and innovation. So our desire would be that public authorities integrate GPP and PPI into their procurement strategies to foster sustainable and innovative economies in the Mediterranean area. The common barriers are low awareness, the deficiency in existing tools, so lack of access to tools and methodologies. The enterprises usually view this strategic procurement as a more expensive and less profitable procurement, and there is also a limited technical skills. Another problem in the MED countries is a large number of small municipalities where there is a limited collaboration between public procurers and public enterprise. To overcome these barriers, Procuramed is increasing knowledge and capacity, sharing knowledge. In fact, in our project, there are transfer partners and receiving partners. Transfer partners are partners who participated in the previous projects I said before. And we are trying to bridge in the gaps, in particular on the legal frameworks.
Às vezes já outro pode pensar melhor, mas também mas aqui eu tenho que te acompanhar porque não estou a ouvir. Já está
There
bem a
is
auditoria.
an open
Sabemos muito
microphone.
bem que do lado lá também há entendimento.
Okay, to foster a collaborative ecosystem for green innovation in public services. This is thanks to the e-tool that I already said before, the Strategic Procurement Unified Platform that is an output of our project, along with awareness raising, trainings and support activities that we are organizing during the projects. As said, we are close to the end, so we already organized the most part of these activities. We did info days, thematic sessions, short courses for both public administration and enterprises, and now we are activating the mentoring processes. And another important deliverable key part of our project is the design of a strategy action plan where each pilot region, because wants to say is that all these activities we are organized are targeted on the needs of each country. So after after realizing all the activities, each pilot region will identify the steps for the full exploitation of the market green innovation potential based. Decoalization, as said before, and we will sign a memorandum of understanding by partners, associated organizations, and also stakeholders. And finally, with the international knowledge sharing and capacity building events like this one, this workshop, we already organized 2 other international webinars, another workshop, and the last international event will be organized in Barcelona during the International Expo of Green Innovation. I finished my presentation. I can say to you if you would like to have more information about our activities, follow our social media page, check on our project webpage, and if necessary, if you would like to have materials of previous courses and webinar organized, write to us. We will share to you all you need. Thank you.
Okay, we can pass to the second presentation. The second presentation is the Deal4Good project. I want to remember Deal4Good project is the co-organizer of this webinar. So I personally thank the partners and the staff here present in the webinar. And the project is focused on social impact and inclusive growth. Of course, the issue is the public procurement. The speaker is Kamila Vodka, who represents the European Center for Social Finance. I leave the floor to Kamila.
Good morning. Just a minute. I will share my screen.
Of course.
And show you my presentation. Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Comment.
No, it seems not opened.
It's still uploading. Yes,
All right.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just let
Should
me.
be okay.
Yeah. Okay. So as Massimo said, I'm Kamila Wodka. I am a project manager at European Center for Social Finance, and today I will shortly present you our Deal4Good project. So let's start from the beginning. Deal4Good, enhancing VET for social impact, putting social public procurement into practice project, has just started in January 2025 and will end in July 2027. And in our project, our consortium consists of 8 different organizations. So we have here like small and medium enterprises, such as the European Center for Social Finance from Germany, that is also a project coordinator, TPCT Consulting and Events from Cyprus, Malta Vocational from Malta, and Exeolab from Italy. We have also not-for-profit association Convalores from Spain, University of West Attica from Greece, of course, and we have also Chamber of Commerce from Bulgaria, Sisi Vratsa, and Educational Institute, also not-for-profit, from Romania, Institute Bukovina. So just
Finished? Okay.
So our target groups are graduates in socioeconomic fields, social enterprises, contracting authorities, VET providers, project partners, and of course, any other stakeholders who are interested in social public procurement. So our main aim is to bridge the gap between vocational education and social economy. And how we gonna do it? We're gonna preparing professionals, so all those targets group I mentioned before, to help social economy organizations effectively participate in social public procurement. And how we gonna do it? First of all, we will create a pilot test and provide social public procurement expert curriculum, as well as massive open online course and digital assessment tool that will help all our target groups to unlock the potential of social businesses and also to improve their ability to create and also to be involved in social impact. I'm now gonna talk a bit about our project results. So first results, it has been already done. It's a small-scale transnational investigation on social public procurement market research report. So after we interviewed a lot of social enterprises and contracting authorities, we prepared the report, and we found out that there are many blocking points about social public procurement. And in this report, we just explained all those blocking points. And also we found out the best practices about social public procurement. There are 14 of them, all in this report. But I'm not gonna talk more about the report because I'm sure it will be presented later by my colleagues from University of West Attica. Just let you know that it's ready, it's in English, it's published, but it's also translated in all our project partners' languages. The second result It's a training curriculum. It's actually something what we are working at the moment. We will create a course made of 8 modules on key social public procurement skills. It will be mostly designed for graduates in socioeconomic fields, and we will use a blended approach. A blended approach means that we will have in-person lessons, but also online lessons and work-based learning. We would like to involve in this course also social enterprises and contracting authorities. The course will have 64 total learning hours, and at least it will be 14 training hours, and then 24 work-based learning. The course will be available on our platform that we are working on as well. After that, this course will be developed into a postgraduate executive master program by our colleagues from University of West Attica. The other results that will be provided by our project is a handbook for VET providers. So based on the second result, this curriculum, we will provide a handbook for VET trainers, coaches, mentors to help them integrate this in their portfolio. We will create also a massive open online course. It will be an open educational resource for training in social public procurement sector, and it will be also based on those 8 modules we will produce. And what is important, this tool will be available for free for everyone and at any time. Other results will be digital assessment tool. What we're gonna do, we will prepare and design a special self-assessment tool, mostly for social enterprises, so they could assess if they are ready to participate in social public procurement bids and tenders. And last but not least, we will prepare policy recommendations. Why we will do it? Because we would like to support contracting authorities or in general public procurement sector by making sure that all social considerations are included in strategies, tenders, and bids and all policies. We hope this will reduce the gap between small and medium enterprises and also social enterprises in this social public procurement area. So that's shortly about our project, and if you would like to read more, please visit our project website, which is deal4good.eu. We are also present on social media, Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have another presentation on social public procurement. It's focused on the present and the future of the social public procurement, and of course the challenges we have to face. The speaker is the Professor Panagiotis Papantonio, who represents the University of West Attica. I leave the floor to the professor.
Okay, thank you very much, Massimo. Good morning to everyone. Thanks a lot, all of you, for being here and participating in this webinar, which, as already indicated, it is at least for both projects one milestone. And we are very happy that there is quite a big attendance, and we will disseminate it more as well after the end of the meeting in the next weeks and months. Now, I will try in 15 minutes to give you an overview of public procurement in terms of the current situation, the challenges, and some solution recommendations that have been extracted through the first part of the Deal4Good project that Camilla presented before. As lead partners of the first work package of Deal4Good, we're responsible, and we carried out in collaboration with all partners the first report that is quite an interesting delivery regarding what the title of this presentation says. What is the current situation? What are the blocking points, the barriers, and what are the solutions that we proposed, and this is what I'm going to present you in the next slide. So why, and I'm starting directly with the fact why is understanding the current situation in this topic important, because through this procedure we are identifying the real barriers that exist both in social enterprises as well as in contracting authorities. We make the challenges more visible. We improve the procurement efficiency through the recommendations that we propose, and we build stronger partnerships. This is something also very important, that it is extracted based on the conclusions. So, as Camilla presented quickly before, the main goal of this work package was to collect and analyze data both from two different pools, let's say. The social enterprises, you can see it as SE, as is in the abbreviation, and contracting authorities, CAs, in the 8 partnership countries, in order to understand their perspectives and the challenges they encounter in public procurement and social public procurement. So, as you can understand, we have identified contracting authorities of each country, social enterprises of each country, and we have already worked on them. So, data were collected through a methodology that was developed within the project. 2 questionnaires, survey questionnaires, and data were analyzed, we'll see later, through comparative descriptive analysis and some models. What we did so within the framework of this activity is that more than 130 social enterprises were participating in the questionnaire, and more than 200 enterprises were reached to participate, but we have more than 130 full replies and more than 30 contracting authorities, and this was the KPIs that were indicated in the application forms. Of course, the contracting authorities were quite less than the social enterprises. And then it was gathered from 8 different countries. So, in the methodological part, what were these surveys? As I said before, we developed 2 different surveys, one for social enterprises, one for contracting authorities. Each country took input from 20 enterprises and 5 in general, let's say the numbers, 5 contracting authorities. These surveys had a similar logic, not the same questions, but a similar logic. And we want to identify 3 different, let's say, topics. The first was knowledge and familiarity. So we want to understand their understanding on public procurement rules and procedures and on their awareness on social public procurement opportunities. The second key topic in both surveys was barriers and suggestions. So we wanted to achieve to identify which blocking points exist both from the one side of the enterprises and on the other side of the authorities, and to take practical recommendations that they believe will improve the situation. And the third big pillar was the participation experience. So we tried to understand their past participation, their challenges, the problems they encounter, the skills that are missing, and the benefits that they requested. So these are the 3 key pillars. What I can say more about the methodological part is that it was quite a big survey, so there was about 10 to 15 minutes that each survey requested to be filled in. And for many surveys, in order to encounter better results, because it wasn't a questionnaire, a typical question that we have, let's say, in a research project, that you have simple questions. It was quite an interesting and big survey. Most interviews were online, so the interviewer talked with a contracting authority and made online the interview through web. Now, this was methodological part, as I said, 130 enterprises, 30 contracting authorities from 8 countries. What are the comparative analysis results that we extracted from this from both surveys. First, in terms of the familiarity on social enterprises, on social public procurements. What you can see in this bar is there are two columns. The blue is the average score of familiarity in public procurement, and the other is the average familiarity in social public procurement, what is important. You can see that while Italy has the highest familiarity, achieves the familiarity in their enterprises in terms of public procurement, Spain has the highest score in social public procurement. And the changes that exist indicate the problem that we will specify it later, that it's not the same familiarity in public procurement and social public procurement in almost all countries, apart, let's say, from Greece. And also what's also interesting is that only in Germany and Spain, the social public procurement was achieved a higher score than the simple public procurement. Second, a comparative analysis in terms of participation of enterprises in tenders. As you can see, and it's very interesting, non-participation is the dominant answer in almost most countries in social public procurement. So we identify already a big problem that social enterprises do not participate almost at all or have a very small experience in social public procurement. Now, in terms of contracting authorities, what is their familiarity in SPP, social public procurement? As you can see in this figure, Germany stands out with the highest average familiarity in both categories, suggesting that there is strong understanding. And this is this agrees with the same figure in social enterprise. So we identify that Germany is ahead the other countries, both in contracting authorities and in social enterprise. While Greece, Romania, and Bulgaria, familiarity with public in these three countries, familiarity with public procurement and SPP, social public procurement, is moderate. Finally, a last figure, again on familiarity on contracting authorities, says that Spain stands with the highest number of respondents confirming awareness on social public procurement. So, but also there are high percentages of no and don't know. So still, in public procurement, we identify that the situation is better, but still it's not what we want to achieve the next years. And finally, in terms of capacity, so the authorities have the capacity to develop social public procurements. We can see that Romania shows a very big gap, while the other countries have, it seems that they have the capacity, but with some problems. Now, in terms of, okay, this is a little bit more statistic, but as we are university, we implemented some statistical analysis as well, so that apart from the comparative analysis on the descriptive, let's say, statistics between the countries, we developed some models. One is a Pearson correlation, the results are there, and what is extracted from here is that there is a statistically significant and strong positive relationship between GDP per capita and the frequency of social enterprise participation. So it's very important that we have a quantified something that we have it in mind, that if the GDP per capita is higher, then the participation is bigger. Now we have it proved through the analysis. And another ANOVA model, another confirmed that the observed difference in SPP familiarity among countries are statistically significant. So it's not that through the descriptive analysis that I presented before, we have some differences between countries. These differences between countries are confirmed by this statistical model. So that this is also important. Now, closing with this statistical part, I'm going to proceed on three different key topics. The first is, why is the familiarity on social public procurement too low. This is very important because this is the basis of the deliverable and on the whole project, let's say, because based on this, we want to improve the situation. And in order to achieve this, to identify what are the barriers, we try to identify blocking points. So we asked both the authorities as well as the enterprises to identify barriers and blocking points on social public procurement. And we have three categories: access and information barriers, procedural and administrative barriers, and qualification and eligibility barriers. So we have identified 24 blocking points in three categories that are quite clear, I think, and I don't want to spend time on this. Access information, administrative and procedural barriers, and qualification and eligibility. As I said, we have 24 blocking points identified. So these three categories in a tree, let's say, we have several blocking points that have a description. So one blocking point, I will say some examples to find interesting tenders. So the prices say that we can't find interesting tenders. The using of public procurement platforms is a problem. The lack of guidance, advice or support, especially in social enterprises that maybe do not have already the capacity. The cost of participating in a table. The lack of internal resources, the fact that they don't meet the financial capacity request, the difficulty of being competent. So you can see that, and for example, the lack of sustainability criteria. So we have identified 24 blocking points that each one has one description, and we now proceed to the last part of this report, which is we saw the situation, we identify the problems, we give some solutions. So we have several recommendations that are based on a methodological approach, which consists of, again, 3 steps. One is we asked the enterprise and the authorities to give us some recommendations they believe that they will help the situation. We have our expert input, so we based on quite a wide desk research, we identified recommendation and solutions. And finally, we have a third point, which is focused solutions on that reply to each one of the blocking points. So, as I said, for each one of the blocking points, we have a respective recommendation how to improve it, and we have, in general, some actions that are categorized. Training on tender preparation. This is let's say a wider category of actions. A centralized tender platform that will solve several blocking points. A B2B event, again, that solves several blocking points identified before. Interaction with procedures at early stages. So we consulting services to provide expert on legal, financial, and technical aspects, for example, because we have this blocking point. Partnerships with established companies, discovery visit, quality-based procurement. So these are several, let's say, types of recommendations, and in this final slide, you can see that for each blocking point, we have a description of specific measures that consist a roadmap for each blocking point and will improve the situation. So I will not. I have already talked 17 minutes, so I want to close. So you can see in the presentations will be available and in the deliverable that there are specific actions proposed. And
Panayoti, sorry, but we cannot hear you. Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay, yes.
Okay,
sorry.
we lost the connection.
I'm closing this last slide just to say that this was the first deliverable of the Deal4Good project. It stated the situation based on quite a big survey, both on contracting authorities and on social enterprises, who identified blocking points, and we set specific recommendations, both in terms of categories, but specific actions that will improve the situation that has identified. And this is a deliverable that it is online, and we are always happy to contact and provide any additional information. And by the way, we plan in the next months to publish as well as some results. As I said, we have some statistical models as well. So we publish in some conferences to publish the results to expand the dissemination of the analysis. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we have another presentation on a peculiar experience of Regione Umbria on green public procurement. This experience was presented on Graspino Plus. The speaker is Barbara Crocetta, who represents the Umbria region. Barbara?
So good. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Because I had some little problems with the connection before. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I go. So let me know. Good morning to everybody, and I'm really glad to be here to present the experience that we have made. Opla. Can you switch off the microphone, please? Oh, okay. So our experience was developed within another, as Massimo told, Interreg project, Graspino. So in the frame of capitalization projects. In the topics actually of green public procurement. In particular, we focused on one of the function of within a green public procurement, but we are going to see in my presentation. So I share with you the screen. I'll try. Okay. Okay. So I start my presentation just to make some connection with all Interreg projects involved. And as I mentioned before, the project was Graspino, and within this project, Umbria region was a receiving partner of the innovation developed in the green public procurement. And in particular, we capitalized the results and we developed a best practice by implementing life cycle costing and green criteria. In particular, in Italy, have been identified as minimum environmental criteria in the design and in the management of the tender. In particular, within the strategic unified platform proposed within, let's say, your project, because within procurement, there are different functions identified within this platform, such as a database, EGPP tool, and LCC tool. So we want to focus on this latter, which is the tool for calculating the life cycle cost. And I think that already all of you are familiar with these, I'm sure, with these terms, but just to contextualize better, the key elements of the life cycle costing are different elements dimension. So we have to take into account the economic dimension within the purchase price, then the environmental factors such as product lifespan, usage and performance cost, maintenance cost, and externalities. Externalities, I mean negative externalities, in particular greenhouse gases, for example, which are, let's say, hidden cost for the environment and for our community, but they are key elements which has to be taken into consideration within life cycle costing. So what we want to underline by using this tool is the impact of this tool on the public budget, because we are used to take into account LCA, for example, so the environment, which is a fundamental aspect, of course, of the green public procurement, but it is also important to put with the environmental sustainability, the economic sustainability of our project. So when LCC is used, we are in front of the use of award criteria in the economically most advantageous tender, but we are also taking into account two-dimensional functions, I mean, for the environment and also the economic aspect. And finally, also can be used as a support to assess the sustainability, of course, but also the circular economy, because now we are going to see how this tool is also useful for to measure the circularity and also to be in line with the circular economy. Concerning our use of LCC, let's see here in this slide what we did in the past, because we have used LCC tool after the tender, so how to see the economical impact, but of course it's more complex and accurate and effective, the use of LCC tool before. So that's what we did in our pilots. Then here we have other details, other benefits that can be done by the use of LCC, but I go on with the other slide because I want to focus, I want to show you and what we did, what were our pilot projects. So what actually we did, we designed a regional price list, which integrating environmental sustainability with economic sustainability, and also by taking into account different aspects, such as the integration of the minimum environmental criteria within this price list, the respect of the NSH rules, which are really now important and has been introduced by the recovery plan and resilience, and which are also fundamental rules for the next future, for the future of for the implementation of projects financed by European funds. Then also we have took into account the analysis of the life cycle, and then LCC, as I told you in particular. Also, this price list allow the direct interaction and integration with BEAM, with this BEAM is a digital methodology to design, so is actually a building information modeling tool, which is really well used with this regional price list. So this is an integration of different elements, criteria, and methodology. Just to focus on each aspect, concerning the minimal environmental criteria, we have taken different CAM. Then we are going to see which are in particular these CAM are related. Sorry, I want to show you but let's say to the lighting, to the building, to the different aspects, because our Ministry of the Environment have developed different camps for different sectors and products and so on. So our price list make reference to the different stages of the procurement process by taking into account the different CAM. We know which are the effects of the use of CAM because they have a market leverage effect. Because they address, they give some guidelines to economic operators in order to make a supply align with the new demand of the public administration. Then just a little reference with the NSH, because we have to verify actually if our project take into account all different objectives of the NSH, such as the climate change mitigation, adaptation, sustainable use and protection of water and marine resources, transition to a circular economy, and the protection and restoration of biodiversity and ecosystems. So here, just to underline, just to show in what our report of sustainability consists in about the NSH. So we have to actually take into account the circular economy, as I mentioned before, and all the others international methodologies. In particular, for the use and of the building materials and the reuse of these materials as second materials, reducing the impact in terms of waste. So, which is the basic rules of the circular economy. And also we want to satisfy the energy consumption by taking into account the bioclimatic design criteria. Then another aspect, other criteria which belongs to our regional price are connected with the cost of the labor and the cost of security policy. I mean, these costs are not included are included in economic value. They must be included, but they are not part of the free market competition. I mean, in this what we tried actually to guarantee that it was the fact that these costs are not subject to reduction. It means that normally free market competition in turn does stimulate price reduction, but price reduction doesn't involve the inclusion of this cost. So it's really important, this principle, to guarantee that. As here you can show visualize this principle, I mean, in the design. So we are using, we are working on the price about materials and the one of the machine, but not are reducing or touching the part related to the human resources and to safety cost. Which are the other principles underlining the design of this tool? So with the building price list, actually building, I mean, because we are working, we have a pilot in these activities, in the activities of building and restoring. Now we are going to see our projects where we had to guarantee the green transition, the digital transition, and the economic and social cohesion. So I go on to show you in particular that our regional list covers minimum labor cost for the construction, technological system, network infrastructure, roadworks, sports facilities, and so on. And in particular, regarding CAM, the minimum environmental criteria, we are relating with building, public lighting and heating, cooling for buildings, and public green areas. What about the material? Material as well are in particular taken into account with the principle of recycling, because they have to be recyclable or reusable building materials. And then there is a percentage, so we have to indicate the weight of these reusable or recyclable materials in the total weight of the material used. In particular, after the Umbria earthquake in 2016, we had more than 100,000 tons of rubble. So it was important to reuse the recycle of this material. So we have to process differently, so we have implemented the real circular approach in this regional price list to reduce waste, to promote reuse, and then that's what we did, also in accordance with the regulation of the European Commission 305 of 2011. Another aspect of materials is about wood. Wood as well has to be sustainable, has to be managed, with the recycled wood, or in combination of recycled wood and let's say not recycled, normal wood. And then the objective of what we test was to be a method, was to build a method for calculating LCC based on different and individual components. And then finally, LCC was added to the price list with this methodology. And this methodology was tested on 2 buildings that we are designing within the framework of the recovery plan of and resilience. But because we also have in Italy an additional financing funds to finance the rebuilding of all the buildings which has been affected, which has been involved by the earthquake. So we had to build a new construction. This is the name of the funds, PNC Area Sisma, which is a sort of plan of recovery and resilience. And it was in a little town of Umbria called Spoleto, and it was a new building. So we have to build a new building which was in line with our history and with our with the historical and artistical context. Then this is here the other building, the second one, which was about the restructuring of an ancient building. And then you can see here what was the picture was about the previous image, and then when the restructuring has been finalized. So you can see the difference. And here, on the contrary, was a totally new building. So now you have seen, so in when we used all this regional price list to do that, so to manage the tender, to the design and to manage the tender. And this is actually our experience. And I don't know if you have any questions about that. Thank you so much.
Massimo, we cannot hear you if you're talking.
Massimo, can I have to stop the sharing, or you want to go back to some parts, or tell me?
Barbara, there is a question in the chat, but if you stay till the end of the webinar, maybe it's better to do it during the discussion session.
Okay.
So please stop sharing and Massimo will continue.
Okay, now it's working, I think. Okay, now we have another presentation about green circular public procurement, but it's focused on Adrio micro region, and in particular on cross-border collaboration. The speaker is Matilde Cavalli, who represents the University of Padua. I leave the floor to Matilde.
Thank you. I'll share the screen now. So just 1 second. Okay. So can you see everything?
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity of being here and share our GPP2 Adrium project. I'm Matilde Cavalli and I'm part of the University of Padua, which together with Professor Alessandro Manzardo are the lead partner of this GPP2 Adrium project. So this project is not only focused on GPP, but GPP related to the Ionic and Adriatic area. So I would like to start with a bit of context. And I know, of course, you all know the GPP very, very well. But in this case, we are not only talking about GPP, but also how GPP can support and increment the transition to circular economy. So as you all know, oh, sorry, I cannot move on. Okay. The green public procurement is a voluntary process where the public authorities choose goods and service and work that have a lower impact throughout their life cycle. So the public authorities really can be a key actor to support the transition to sustainable consumption. So is the GPP tool a good lever to support this transition? This is one of our key research question in our project. And we know that the incrementation of the green public procurement will provide a kind of positive loop, positive improvement throughout all the society, because the public administration can set the example of sustainable consumption and can, through the GPP, stimulate the demand of green products. So also the company can then have more sustainable production patterns. But what we found out is that there is a lot of heterogeneity throughout all the countries that are in the Adriatic area. And so we want to show how these benefits can help and support them. So here comes our project, which is the GPP2 Adrium, which want to foster the adoption and the implementation of GPP procedure and promote the transition. So our project, in a nutshell, is a project made up by 9 partners that are all in the Ionic and Adriatic zone. So we are Italy, then there is Slovenia, Serbia, North Macedonia, then Greece and Bosnia. And it's a 3-year project. We just finished and complete the first year, and we are about to start our second year. We have 2 main goals within our project: to promote the adoption of green public procurement in this area. As I just said, there is a lot of heterogeneity in the level of awareness and the level of implementation of the GPP throughout these areas. So our key goal is to support the implementation of the instrument throughout all the area, and then to overcome the barriers that hinder the transition to a circular economy. So our project is structured in 4 core actions. We just started and we completed the first one, which is the benchmark and gap analysis. What is that? Is first of all to understand where we are. So which is the state of the art regarding each region that is part of the project, and which is the state of the art of what the EU is asking to us. So which are the guidelines, which are the best practice. And then once we understand where we are, and then what do we want to reach, so the standard that it's asking from the EU level, then we define the gap. So how can we go from where we are now to our goal to be ready and to implement the GPP? And we define which are the gaps and which are the main barriers that occur right now. And once we identify these barriers, we, based on that, we want to build a capacity building package, which is actually a course and a training course that will be elaborated and then promote throughout the project partners, and who will attend and then pass the exam will become a GPP ambassador, because now it comes to the 3rd core action, that is to establish some contact points. We will start with 2 contact points in Montenegro and Bosnia, and in this contact point there will be a GPP ambassador. So it's someone or a group of persons that have a high level of awareness and knowledge regarding GPP and regarding GPP practice, and they have a lot of instruments and guidelines, so they can support the implementation and support the public authorities and the small medium enterprise implementing the GPP in the region where there is like a strong lack of knowledge and centralized monitoring. So then based on this, the last aspect of our project is to create a transnational network. This is because the project is really focused also on the social part, in the sense of by connecting people and by sharing the knowledge, we can really implement the adoption of this instrument. And that's why our last work will be on the creation of this network. As I said, we just finished this first year, and we really focused on understanding where we are and which is the state of the art and where do we want to go, and understand which are the gaps. We've done this by first mapping the stakeholder, so who is involved in GPP. Each project partner, so each region that is part of the project, understood who is in charge in their country to work and to deal with GPP with different level of influence and different level of participation. And we divided the type of organization, so in terms of civil society, small medium enterprise, NGO, research and academy, public authorities at regional level and the national level. So overall, we mapped 119 stakeholders. So we also have their role and their contacts in order that we can then build this network. Then we perform some interviews. So we built a questionnaire, and then each partner performed at least 10 interviews. So we collected 63 interviews in total. They were 1-hour interview where we can really get into deep understanding of the current state of art and the current needs of the different stakeholders. And at the very last, we performed an online survey with a total of 133 participants. And this online survey was mainly focused on which are the barriers, and we were asking to the stakeholders what they need in terms of to improve their awareness and their knowledge regarding GPP, which instrument do they need, and all of this information are our basis to build the capacity building program. So what we found out based on this first research on survey and interview is that there is strong heterogeneity. For example, Italy have mandatory GPP with the environmental criteria, so it is in force. However, although there is a strong regulatory framework, there are some gaps in terms of practical guidance. Then there is in Slovenia that have partial enforcement of the GPP instrument, while other Western Balkans have mostly voluntary but very fragmented and not monitored the GPP application. What really needs to be key aspect to focus on are the tool and practices, so practical guidelines. Then what appeared to be clear is that also that without mandatory rules and mostly monitoring, GPP risks to remain kind of symbolic. But on the other side, we understood that there is a growing interest in local authorities that they want to be part of this. And there are some pilot initiatives that can be replicable. So we understand that the voluntary nature and the lack of practical instrument cause this low level of knowledge most of the time and difficulties in the implementation. But this can also be an opportunity, and this is what we want to reach in our capacity building package. So we are about to build this training course that will be at least 20 hours. It will be online and or in person, and at the end there will be kind of an exam where if you pass that, you become a GPP ambassador, and this will be the key aspect in our GPP contact point. There will be kind of a hub of information in country that needs more support in this. And at the very end, as I said, we want to create this transnational network. Right now, we started with the stakeholder mapping. So by collecting all these contacts and to get to know the people that are working with GPP, and also to make also that people to get to know us. So we want to address both the needs of public authorities and this the small and medium enterprise, so they can collaborate in this. Of course, everyone can be part of this network, and we can all work together in GPP. So whoever wants to get in touch and get to know more about this, of course, can write me and we can get in touch. And so with this, I come to conclusion. Thank you so much for your attention.
Okay. Thank you, Matilda. Now, if I can use a Latin way of saying, dulcis in fundo, we have a presentation on how to drive innovation procurement, with a peculiar attention to benefits, methodologies, and in particular, the assistance of two European initiatives. Okay, here we have the acronym is EAFIP, European Assistance for Innovation Procurement, and the other initiative is SPIN for AIC, Strategic Innovation Procurement Initiative, promoted by European Innovation Council. The speaker is Beatriz Gomez Fariñas, who represent Corvers. They are legal experts on strategic public procurement. Okay, I leave the floor to Beatriz.
Many thanks, Massimo, and good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm gonna share my screen so you can see my presentation. Please let me know if you see it in full screen.
Okay, it's okay.
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here today. And well, in this minute, I'm gonna give you some ideas on how what is innovation procurement, what is important, and as Massimo say, which possibilities of assistance, especially for public budgets, but also for companies that we have nowadays in the European context. Well, based on the presentations that they were delivered this morning, there was already a clear understanding about what is innovation procurement, so I'm not going to deep dive on it. But I think it's important to always have a definition from the beginning and to know what we are talking about when we say innovation procurement. Innovation procurement basically happens when the public buyer has a need. And usually when a public buyer has a need, go to the market and buy whatever they need. For example, if I am a municipality and I need computers or I need pencils, I go to the market and I buy it, of course, following a competitive approach. But in the case of innovation procurement, what the public buyer is buying is precisely innovation. Innovation because we may have different scenarios. We may have scenarios in which the public buyer goes to the market and they see that there is no solution available and it's not going to be available soon. So then they need to buy research and development services. So we will talk here about pre-commercial procurement. Or it may happen that when the public buyer goes to the market and does the market analysis, realize that there are already some solutions available in the market at a small scale, or solutions that are very close to the market, but still they need this final push to commercialize. In this case, the public buyer is buying a solution, not the development of a solution, but a solution itself. And we will go for a public procurement of innovative solutions. So with this, I want to give you an overview of the different possibilities we have. We can also have an innovation partnership or a prototype testing, but what I want you to just keep in mind is that when we buy innovation, we have to think that there are different degrees of innovation. And for that, we have also specific tools to purchase these innovative solutions. Why is important? Of course, that was also said this morning, the importance of strategic procurement in general, and in particular, innovation procurement is important, but not only for the public sector, but also for the technology providers. From a public sector perspective, of course, always looking for innovative solutions that allow to do a more efficient use of the public funds, and of course give or provide better services to the citizens, which at the end of the day is what we wanna achieve as public buyers, And in general, address also wider societal challenges, because this morning we also talk about social procurement or environmental friendly procurement, green procurement. So innovation procurement actually is perfect to include also these other strategic variants, let's say, Because when we talk about innovation, we also want to tackle other goals, like, for example, societal goals or more environmental friendly solutions, etc. But it's also very good innovation procurement for the private sector. And this is because, especially when we talk about pre-commercial procurement that start with research and development of the solutions, it opens up really the market to new companies, especially SMEs and innovative startups, that perhaps usually they don't have still the commercialization capabilities to participate in a regular contract or a public procurement of innovative solutions. But in the case of PCP, they can grow together with the contract. So this is a very good approach to allow these small companies to even, let's say, include or even have access to new markets. Something also that has been proven in the different innovation procurement project is that, of course, this support from the public buyers speed up the time for the solutions to be incorporated in the market, so the time for commercialization of the solutions. And also we have seen in several projects that it attracts investment. So we have also, let's say, try or let's explore the possibility of venture capital organizations to already start investing in during the PCP, and it has been very successful. So we see that, you know, for the company also has a good impact the participation in this kind of project. Focusing on, okay, we buy innovation, we have different approaches that I mentioned before, but how do we know which is the best approach to buy innovation? Well, of course, what we have to do is to check the market and analyze what is the state-of-the-art analysis and what products are already available on the market or in their way to the market. But also what we need to do is to check the technology readiness level of the solution. So here you can see a table with different technologies readiness levels, basically starting from a basic concept that still is to be observed, to be researched, up to TRL 9, which we have an actual system that is working and is clear that is working in a real environment and can be commercialized. So when we are between the TRL 3 and 8, we still need research and development, so we will use ideally a pre-commercial procurement. But if we are already at TRL 9, so we have a product that is almost close to be commercialized and only need this final push from the public buyer, then we will go for a public procurement of innovative solutions. Before going a little bit further into pre-commercial procurement, which is always more interesting and has more peculiarities, I would like to introduce you to the methodology that there is available. This methodology is available at European level, which is the EAFIP methodology. EAFIP, as Massimo indicated, is a European Assistance for Innovation Procurement. This is an initiative from the European Commission, and we as Corbers have been collaborated in this initiative for years now, and also we have created a methodology that is widely accepted and implemented in different EU-funded projects. And this methodology basically aims to give a toolbox to the public buyers when they want to prepare and implement an European or national innovation procurement project. As you can see, this is a comprehensive methodology because it focused from the very beginning when the public buyers start thinking, okay, I have this need, how I can proceed in order to satisfy this need. I know I need an innovative solution, but still I need to double check to see when the contract has been executed, and then we focus also on what's happening next. So the preparatory phase is essential in any kind of procurement, but especially in innovative procurement, because we need to double check which is the TRL level of the solution, and therefore if there is more or less room for innovation, if we need research and development or not, or if there is already a solution that is available in the market and we can go and buy it. During this preparatory phase, of course, we need to define very well the need, to understand which is my need, develop a series of use cases in order to understand that needs and make it understandable for the market as well. We need, as I mentioned, to check what is available on the market, what technologies can be suitable or not. And also after that, it's essential to engage with the market through an open market consultation. So engage with the market in order to say, okay, this is my need, this is my plan for the procurement, and this is the research and the information I have gathered through the state-of-the-art analysis. And then we also cross-check with the market that information, and we explore the acceptability of the contractual conditions for the market. For example, this is my idea for the procurement, the budget, the deadlines, the specific duration of the phases if we are in a PCP. Do you agree with this? This is feasible for you, is not? So of course, what we want is to receive as much input as we can from the market in order to have a sound procurement strategy. And after that, we do also a business case internally. So the public authority makes numbers to make it very easy to understand if this project is feasible or not, or is better not to do anything, or is better to do something different. And then when we have all this information, we design the procurement strategy and we start working on the tender document. So that will be all the preparation first in a nutshell, because of course it will be explained much more detail, but to give you an overview of the different steps. The next step will be the tendering phase. So we have all the tender documents and we award the contract. So we publish the tender documents, we receive the bids, evaluate that bids, and award the contracts. And something very interesting here is, of course, the contract execution and program management, but this methodology covers also the evaluation and lessons learned. So at the end of the procurement, we want to understand what we did well and what could have been done better, but also to take into account the post-contract management. For example, if we are talking about a certain intellectual property rights obligations in the contract that the contractor needs to perform even after the contract. So for example, and they're talking here about obligation to protect the results, obligation to commercialize the solutions, etc. So these obligations need to be monitored by the public buyer even after the contract has been executed. So now I would like to give you some more details about pre-commercial procurement, because this is a procurement that usually creates interest and also sometimes some confusion. And before going to the specific type of assistance to which public buyers can benefit, no? So as I mentioned, pre-commercial procurement is a tool to buy innovation, but to buy specifically the development of a solution. So we are not buying a solution itself, but we are buying research and development services to have a solution. So that implies to design a solution and to build a prototype that can be used by the public buyers. So in this case, as I mentioned, no solutions exist on the market, and there is no any hint that these solutions will be developed soon. So we have a need, we need to satisfy that need, but there is no solution for that. So then the public buyers decide to collaborate with the private sector to develop that solution. Yes, this instrument is very interesting for several reasons. First of all, because it's a competitive approach. So usually pre-commercial procurement has different phases. A first phase, which is the solution design, a second phase, which is the prototype development, and a third phase, which is the testing of this prototype development. So we have several suppliers that are developing solutions at the same time, and they are, let's say, competing to each other. So this is also very good because we have different suppliers developing different solutions at the same time. And of course, we're reducing away the uncertainty of knowing what will be the result, if we will have an innovative solution that works or not. Then, as you can see here, in each phase, we reduce the number of suppliers based on the satisfactory and successful character of the solution. So only the most successful solutions will be invited to present an offer for the next phase. Well, the legal framework very quickly used to say that we have very quite flexibility here because the PCP falls outside the scope of the Public Procurement Directive. That means that of course, we have to respect the general principles, competition, equal treatment, no discriminations, etc. But we have more flexibility than with regular procurements. And the reason for this flexibility, of course, is that we are buying research and development services, and usually there is also and should be a distribution of benefit and risk between the both parties. Here I have an example for you, which is a EU-funded PCP called Fabulous PCP. So in this case, they wanted to procure basically the development of a prototype for a system that is capable of operating fleets of self-driving shuttle buses. So this fabulous PCP had a 5.5 million budget. And again, as I mentioned, it has these 3 different phases. And as you can see here, the different phases you can see here in the picture. So in the first phase, they award 5 contracts to different consortia. In the phase 2, they award 4 contracts. In the phase 3, they award 3 contracts. So a lot of competition, a lot of different solutions that have been developed from the beginning until the end, no? And they had the pilots in different EU countries. 6 EU countries has been involved: Finland, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Estonia, and Greece. And they have pilots in 5 of them, so in all of them apart from Portugal. Focusing now on how to engage with innovators, especially for public buyers, because at the end of the day, this kind of procurement demands a strong interaction with the private sector as well. Because we talk about innovation, as we know, innovation goes very fast, and it's very important that the public buyers has also the knowledge to understand what is going on in the market and how to do the best decision, how to make the best decisions. So as I mentioned, of course, it's important to engage through the open market consultation. It's important also to communicate to the market our needs and expectations in a clear manner. So define the innovation challenges, and then also use the methodology that it was explained before, no? The different preparatory steps to ensure that the market understands these needs and also can provide relevant feedback. And then also there are some initiatives at EU level that help specifically public buyers to prepare and implement the innovation procurement projects. So we have EAFIP that was mentioned before, and we have also SPIN4EIC. I will start explaining SPIN4EIC. SPIN4EIC is a comprehensive initiative to foster innovation procurement in Europe. And I say comprehensive because it covers not only the public buyers, but also the private sector. So it provides assistance to the public and private sector. On one side, on the preparation and implementation of the tender. On the other side, on the preparation to submit a tender in a procurement procedure. The idea in this case is that connecting also the public buyers and the private sector, but focus on the EIC beneficiaries. So in this case, the support is limited to the EIC beneficiaries and not to any company. But on the other hand, any public entity that is established in Europe and plans to innovate in Europe, it can participate and receive assistance from this initiative. We also have pitching event, as we mentioned, so the different public buyers can understand the solutions that are available in the market and how they can implement it in their own institutions. And we also have development different tools, academies, in order to foster and spread the word on innovation procurement and also create awareness on this instrument, and a toolkit specifically designed for the suppliers that is available publicly. So you can go to the EIC website and then you can check the different chapters of the toolkit in order to help suppliers to prepare themselves to submit a bid, to understand the procurement process, etc. How can you benefit? Well, if you're a public buyer, because as I say, this is mostly oriented to public buyers, you can submit an application and receive different kind of assistance. Assistance that is free of charge because it's covered by the European Commission. And the specific assistance covers 4 types. So the assistance covers the help with the needs identification, helps with the business case, with the open market consultation, and with drafting the tender documents. And then also with there is possibility for more specific or tailor-made assistance, but this is of course open to discussion when they submit an application. So it's very easy. basically there is a link available. You just have to go and fill in a formula. It's quite short, 5 minutes max, and then well, we will receive the application and we will check it if it complies with all the requirements or not, and move forward with it. So it's very interesting because for each type of assistance, there is 5 days free of charge. So 5 days in which a legal and business team will be working with you in order to prepare the different aspects of the tender. Then we have, on the other hand, EAFIP, European Assistance for Innovation Procurement. This initiative has been let's say, working since 2015. So it's already a more longer initiative, and the scope for public buyers is similar, but focus on ICT solutions. So in this case, we also have a different type of assistance and 3 days of assistance to prepare also the different steps of the procurement. As I said, the main difference is, and in this case, we are more focused in ICT solutions. The scope of SPIN4IAC is a bit broader. In this case, we also have developed a toolkit, the EAFIP toolkit. Perhaps you are already familiar with it. And this toolkit is directed or is oriented to public entities. So public entities have here all the information on how to prepare the procurement. The type of assistance is similar, and also the way to apply is similar. There is a link with that you can find here in the presentation to a short form survey that can be filled very quickly, and then yeah, we will receive the application, and if it's successful, start working together. This is the same, the categories and the days of assistance, and how to apply. As I mentioned here, you have the link. And yeah, what I want to convey with this is that the idea of the two initiative for the public buyers is to support you in the different step of the preparation of the tender. So we usually think about tender documents, which is essential, of course, but before that, we have also other steps that can be very interesting. Thank you for your attention. I hope you find it useful, and if you have any doubt or question, I would be more than happy to address it. Thank you.
Thank you, Beatrice. Okay, now if you have a question about the presentation, here we can discuss.
Yes, Massimo, I can see 2 questions in the Q&A section. So I will start with the first one, which is addressed to Barbara. From your experience, what have been the biggest lessons learned when integrating life cycle costing and minimum environmental criteria into procurement procedures? So they're asking about the biggest lesson learned during the pilots that you implemented. We cannot hear you, Barbara. If you can turn off your microphone.
You're right.
Yes.
Yes. Let's say that the biggest lessons, I mean, it's more related to the use, to the integrated use of different elements by the definition of this regional price list. As I mentioned, it is an innovation because when you Umbria region, because it's up to region to define the price list, is important to innovate towards green environment, so for sustainability, but as well as to economic sustainability, and also by taking into account the cost of labor, the cost of safety, which not must be reduced and so affected by these innovations. So it is important, I think, the lessons is the creation of an integrated tool, which is always in all the time an evolution, because new CAM can be inserted or other aspect can be taken into account. For example, in the building of the new building, as I showed you before, in Spoleto, they also used an additional concrete, which is inserted after in the regional price list. I mean, because the regional price list every year is updated. So it's in progress tool. And so I think in this case, this kind of integration is the basic element of innovation in the green public procurement in our region, because we are using this tool. It's not only it's not been only used for the experimentation, for the pilot. That's it.
Thank you, Barbara. Yes, indeed, the sustainability of such kind of tools and the fact that you still use it inside the region, I think is the most important thing. So thank you very much for sharing concrete results from this regional experience. And now I will move on to the next question that I see in the section of questions and answers, and is for Beatrice. So you mentioned support tools such as SPIN for AIC and the AFIP. In your view, which type of assistance is most valuable for organizations that are just starting out with innovation procurement? I think you mentioned the two applications that an organization that has just starting working with innovation procurement can apply. But if you want to summarize the steps that they should proceed, it would be great.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, concerning the initiative, they are open for different types of public buyers. So regardless of if they are very experienced or they are just starting in innovation procurement. But of course, if you are starting, the support is more relevant because you will need some guidance and so assistance in how to prepare, especially prepare the tender. No, for that I would suggest that you can apply to any of them, AFIP or SPIN for AAC, depending on the nature of your project. So AFIP is very focused on ICT solutions, and SPIN for AAC is more broader. So I will say, if you have any doubt, you go for SPIN for AAC, and then you can apply if you have already a project and you have in mind or a need, you can apply for the different kind of assistance in the same form. So you can select need identification, business case, open market consultation, and tender documents, and then we will help step by step. So we will start together with the needs identification, building some use cases that we can use as a starting point, thinking about the technical requirements, etc. And then we will move forward step by step with the different type of assistance. So as a newcomer, I think it will be fantastic.
Thank you, Beatrice, for the valuable information. I would suggest, if it is easy for you, to leave the two links in the chat for the two applications. Maybe this facilitates the participants to get the link. Great, thank you. Is there any other question or any thought that the participants would like to share with us or with the speakers? You can raise your hand or directly write down to the question and answer sections. I'll give just a minute. Okay, Massimo, maybe I can start with the closing remarks, or
okay.
Do you?
I can try to give a leitmotif of the webinar. So the first thing is, okay, sort of a question. What are the success conditions for a project? Yes, normally I consider the European project in general a system with two steps. The first one is the big project in which you have also some pilots, and the second step is capitalization project. I don't know, like procurement, for instance. So I think we need also a third level here, because the idea stays in the first level, and the project, in the pilot project. Then we have the capitalization project. For me, the capitalization project, it's a project in which we have to transform best practices in normal routine. But we need a third level to check this. I think we need a different monitoring system to verify if we have a real application of the results of the project. Here we are weak in some way. So this is a particular situation because public procurement here is also a peculiar sector. It's very important for the green transition because it could be a driving force for the transition. So it starts from the public side. But here we are also lucky because here we have also the opportunity to be assisted with different tools. I declare I didn't know this only recently. I knew this opportunity to be assisted. I'm talking in particular for public administration. Torre Siena Lab represents 33 municipalities and the province of Siena. So normally in the public administration we are adverse risk. So we prefer normal routine to the innovation procedure because probably they are risky. So here we have a big opportunity to be assisted. In my opinion, is a good thing. We have to develop this aspect. We have to follow up this aspect. So this is my idea. So it's right. Okay, we start from project. We have also here a project, interesting project because we have interesting results and we have the right approach, because when we talk about environment, it's right to talk about other issues. For instance, we have seen in the presentation of Barbara, together with the green public procurement, we have the life cycle cost. So we have also the consideration of other aspects, economic aspects, but also another project I've seen here. We have also the social inclusion, for instance. So other aspect about the economy, circular economy. So I think this is the one of the key of the success of this kind of project. But I repeat, here we are lucky because we have also the opportunity to assist public administration in this kind of process.
Thank you, Massimo.
Do you want to add something, Costantina?
Yes, just to add some few concluding reflections. I think that it is important to remember from our webinar today that basically public procurement is much more than a technical process. In my opinion, it can become a powerful policy tool that can drive, as we saw, both environmental sustainability, social inclusion, and innovation across our countries and Europe. And we have to remember that when the public procurement is strategically designed, this can generate real added value for the society, for the environment, and for the economies. It is really important to remember this lesson learned, let's say. Another thing that we've seen from today's presentations, it's the key factor of collaboration, I could say. Projects like the Deal4Good, the procurement, the GPP2 Adrian, shows that this project can help to build communities of practice, to share methodologies and tools that are already developed in previous phases of other projects, for example. And that is also really important to create this link, this bridge between the public buyers and the private sector. Because we lack, we saw that in all projects, we lack this connection. Yes, I think that's it. I would like to thank all our speakers for the insightful contributions, and of course all the participants for your engagement and participation. I hope that all of us will leave today with some new ideas, and perhaps we will create some synergies and future opportunities for collaboration. An email will follow up with a webinar recording and a very short evaluation survey, I promise. And I think that's it. On behalf of all the organizers, thank you very much, and looking forward for the next opportunity of exchange. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.